Phase 2.5 is finally here. Battlegrounds, keyrings, elemental invasions, even API changes, paid character transfers. Classic WoW will never be the same. Let's talk about it. What's up everybody, Ronal here. It's been a long few weeks in our favorite game, and if you're like me, you're starting to feel like your UI almost has a permanent gray shadow. The much anticipated Phase 2.5 patch is here. It's time to break it down. But first, if we've earned a like and a sub, please do so, and leave a comment and let us know what your experience has been in Classic WoW up to this point. Are you excited about this patch? You can also contact me directly at XPGaming on Twitter, or you can email the show at xpmedia2020.com. Alright, let's dive in. Classic WoW Phase 2.5, or officially patch 1.13.3, is going to bring some interesting new dynamic to the game. The big one, of course, is Battlegrounds, and we'll dive into that first because that is obviously the most anticipated change to try to solve the world PvP problem that's happening right now. So for the new players, Battlegrounds are going to be instance content to take PvP out of the world. They're going to be available to either PvP servers or PvE servers or normal servers, and they're going to be queuable content. So you can either queue for these Battlegrounds either at the Battle Masters in capital cities, or you can queue for them in the open world in a couple different places. So we're going to go over that right now. And again, we appeal to a large range of WoW players. Some people have experience, some people don't, and so we try to cover all those things. So if you knew that already, don't worry about it too much. All right, Warsong Gulch, the first battleground that we're going to take a look at. What is it? On a quick breakdown, it's a 10 versus 10 classic capture the flag style battleground. The entrance for the Alliance is in Ashenvale, which is in Kalimdor. So if you're an Alliance player, you're going to try to get back to the Night Elf tree, and you're going to make your way to Ashenvale. For the Horde, it's in the Morshan base camp in the Northern Barrens. So if you're a Horde player, fly to Crossroads and run north, and you can get into Warsong Gulch from there. Or, as always, all these battlegrounds have battle masters in capital cities. The Horde battle master, the one that most people use, is in Orgrimmar, and the Alliance battle master, the one that most people use, is in Stormwind. Alterac Valley is the other battleground that's coming to Classic. It's a totally different kind of battleground than Warsong Gulch. It's a 40 versus 40 large-scale PvP. It has quests, it has reputations, it has rewards. The games are a lot longer. It's designed to be a totally different experience than just a 10v10 kind of capture the flag, boom, and you're done situation. The entrance for Alterac Valley is in Hillsbred Foothills, which is the classic Torn versus South Shore area, so there's going to be lots of PvP going on there. Sorry if you're trying to level, you're kind of out of luck. Both battlegrounds are cross-realm. This is going to be really interesting because what cross-realm means is that there's going to be battle groups. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't believe Blizzard has broken down which servers are going to be in battle groups. So what that means for new players is your server is going to be combined with people trying to queue to play that battleground on other servers. And when all these people get together, there's a couple of good things that happen. First of all, if your server has a faction imbalance, say you have too many Horde or too many Alliance, if your server is Horde dominated, for example, the Horde actually end up with much longer queue times for PvP because there's way more Horde players trying to PvP than there are Alliance players. And the same thing goes around if your faction is the Alliance and you dominate your server. When we get battle groups together, these players can actually balance each other out, so queue times get lower for everybody. So it's kind of a quality of life thing that works pretty well for everybody involved. Blizzard hasn't released the exact list of which servers are going to be in which battle group, but we'll keep an eye out for that and definitely bring that to you when we see it. Overall, I think the opinion is that Battlegrounds are going to solve the griefing problem that's happening right now. There is, of course, no way to farm honor in the open world to advance your rank and get towards new and powerful gear other than just griefing flight points and killing people who are trying to level within that 10 level spread. So if you're level 49 or above, you're pretty much just going to get killed by raids of groups of 60s who are trying to farm honor, because Blizzard designed this in a way that this is the only way that people can get honor. Now, back in the original vanilla game, what you're going to see is lots of people have different opinions saying that, well, this was the way this was back in the original game, which is true. There actually was a 2-month time period between when the honor system was released and the first instance battlegrounds were released. But the main difference that all of the people that say back in vanilla it was this way is the servers were much, much smaller. Think about this. You've got 20,000 people-ish, maybe even more, on a server at one time. Back in the day, in vanilla WoW, this was never the case. The servers were much smaller. The populations were much, much smaller. And so this meant that you just didn't have as many people clogging the high-level zones And so it was much easier to do the same amount of content in the same amount of space. And so right now, you just have too many people at max level that are waiting for some way to grind honor, and the only way they have to do it is to grind it on you while you're trying to level or while you're trying to quest. Elemental invasions are coming to Azeroth. What are these? Well, it's basically a bunch of elementals that you can kill and farm for different mats, and then you sell them, and then you go and you rinse and repeat. These are all located in Kalimdor. They're in Unguro, they're in Ashara, they're in Winterspring, and they're in Sithilis. You go farm them, you get your mats, and you kind of go on, and that's really kind of all it really is. It's nothing really more exciting than that. There's a keyring. Now the keyring's kind of interesting because you will notice that as you progress at max level, you need to get keys to do different content. So for example, you need a Scholomance key. Once you do those quests in Eastern Plaguelands and you get your Scholomance key, you have this thing in your inventory forever that takes up a bag slot. And as we all know, bag slots in Classic WoW are at a premium all the time. So the keyring will take those keys out of your bag, put them in another special bag that's only for keys, and it will have 12 slots in it, which is really awesome because then you can carry 12 keys with you. There are way more than 12 keys in Classic WoW. I'm not going to get into all of them. If you're really curious about that, there's plenty of people who have done awesome videos about that. I'm just going to say that the keyring is a large quality of life add-on for most people that's going to be very impactful. API changes. Okay, so this is really interesting to me personally as an IT guy. So what Blizzard is doing is they're changing a specific piece of the way add-ons can communicate. And you guessed it. Why is this happening? Oh, I don't know, because the spy add-on has got everybody all mad about the way that it's reporting players of opposite factions. So Blizzard decided, you know what, the spy add-on, the way that it works and the way that it spams data to other players all around is not really the way we intended things to work. So what they did is they changed the way that the add-ons can communicate. People who are worried that this is going to affect their favorite add-ons don't. This is not going to affect things like weak auras and threat meters and stuff like that, because most of those just use the raid channel itself to communicate. What this is going to affect are add-ons that are based on distributing large amounts of data to all the players in an area at once. So kind of like spy. So like, for example, if you have 100 players doing PvP in a zone at once, and you have an add-on that's designed to share data with all 100 people at once, you have each one of those 100 characters spamming data from their client at the server to everybody all at the same time. And what does this cause? Of course, this causes lag, right? This causes a bunch of lag. And so Blizzard decided that, hey, this is not the way that this needs to work. The big breaker here is going to be the spy add-on is definitely going to work differently or not at all once this add-on change gets put into place. And of course, the classic LFG add-on, which of course was broken before Classic WoW ever really went into to live from beta, that add-on, of course, used something similar to this. So I actually think this is probably a good idea because overall, it is better to have a better gameplay experience in keeping lag down. And also, I'm not going to get into the philosophical nature of the spy add-on because everyone has a different opinion on that, largely based upon how your griefing experience has gone in Classic, I would say. So going forward, I would think that add-on developers are going to make some very interesting changes to the designs of their add-ons. Going to be kind of cool to see how they adapt. But I think the most important point is to emphasize that our favorite add-ons, the ones that are gameplay based, like weak auras, like threat meters, stuff like that, are not going to be affected at all. So if you see people talking, you can correct them and say, no, it's not going to break anything important. This was just aimed at add-ons that distribute massive amounts of information in a way that really the game client is not designed to work. Finally, the last thing is the patch includes support for paid character transfers in the WoW client itself. What this means is that they're laying the groundwork for you to get off your server and pay to do that. Now, everyone knew this was coming. I mean, you could have predicted this from the beginning of Classic WoW, that there would be a point at which Blizzard would let you bail from your server because of a faction imbalance for a modest fee. Now, you can say this is a money grab. I personally don't think it is, because at the end of the day, you're making the choice to play the game. You're making the choice to switch servers to play the game, and it can feel like you're being forced to switch servers, but no one's forcing you to play the game. So that opinion may be slightly unpopular, and I get it, it triggers different kinds of emotions in people, but I think at the end of the day, we're not being forced to play WoW, and if Blizzard is giving us the opportunity to switch servers with a paid faction transfer, it's actually kind of a good thing for us. So if you choose to take advantage of that, it's not being released with this particular phase or this particular patch, but it will be supported, which means it's going to be turned on. And I'd just like to wrap up by saying that I do believe that one of the major driving forces of this particular patch coming out early was analytics in the gaming. And I think that it's important for everyone to understand the way that game development happens now versus the way that it happened in Classic. It is definitely driven by how the players play the game. Blizzard definitely saw a drop-off in logins. I can tell you just from feeling the amount of population in Classic WoW itself, in my own experience, the amount of players are way down. I'm kind of hoping that the decision to roll out the honor system, I'll call it early, but even to roll out the honor system the way that we did in original vanilla WoW didn't kill Classic. There's lots of videos on there that are clickbait, and there's lots of opinions out there on the internet that are designed to kind of be very emotion driven. But I'm just telling you, from my perspective, I love the game. I hope that it didn't kill Classic WoW, and I'm hoping that people will come back and the world griefing situation kind of gets under control, because at the end of the day, players will always take the most efficient route to get what they want. And the majority of population are going to find that Battlegrounds are the most efficient route to grind honor. And that's really where the majority of PvP should shift. Is there going to be griefing? Of course there's going to be griefing, because that's just part of the game, and that's part of any PvP game, and that's actually okay. But there's going to be a much larger population of players that are going to specifically move towards using Battlegrounds to get the majority of their honor and the majority of their PvP playtime. That in and of itself will make the gameplay on PvP servers much better. So I think that there's something that we can look forward to. I'm hopeful about it, and well, I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Thanks everybody for sticking with this video to the end. If you'd like to see the actual Blizzard patch notes, we'll have a link down in the description so you can check them out for yourself. And also, if we've earned a like and a sub, please go ahead and do so. That helps YouTube spread our content out and more people can find us. And finally, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our other content. And if you're interested, we do a long form podcast every Friday called XP Gaming. Go ahead and check that out. I hope everyone is enjoying Classic WoW, and I hope that this patch, if you're enjoying PvP, helps that to be even a better experience. And if you're griefing people, well, you are who you are. See you next time.